Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. This is a very exciting webinar that we're presenting to you today. We're honoured to be joined by Ellen, who is from Audinate. Ellen brings with her years and years of experience in the industry and is the product marketing manager at Audinate. We'll also be meeting with Joris, who's the general manager of Europe for Lumens. Joris is an engineer by trade, but has very much a customer-facing role now, so is coming up daily with real-world scenarios, which he will talk to you about today. So today we're going to be looking at what is Dante AVH, why Dante AVH, in our view, changes everything, and then we'll finish with some questions. So if you do have any questions, please drop them into the chat box. We will either answer them on the fly or come to them right at the end. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Ellen, who's going to be talking to us about the Dante ecosystem.
Great. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, let me jump right into the ecosystem here. A lot of people might already be familiar with the, actually, you want to show the ecosystem slide? Thanks. A lot of you might already be familiar with the huge range of Dante audio devices, which are installed in conference spaces worldwide, as well as live events, performance venues, education, hospitality. You can see a lot of them here, hundreds of highly recognized brands in audio technology. And you know, they're designing products that speak Dante. And this is where Lumens and its meeting room technology comes in. They integrate with this Dante ecosystem and simplify your meeting room project. Joris is going to show us a lot about that later on. But first, let's take a look at the broader landscape. Audio is where we got our start around 20 years ago, but Audinate is not just about audio. This is still new to a lot of people, but everything that customers loved about Dante audio over IP paved the way for what's now nearly 100 Dante AV video devices out on the market now. So now you can start thinking about adding cameras, HDMI and SDI, encoders and decoders with the same perfectly synced control across that same 1 gig network. Today, there's more than 4,000 Dante-enabled audio and video products from 600 manufacturers in the market. This makes Dante the most widely adopted platform. As you can see, 12 times the market adoption of the nearest competitor. Now, for people who are involved in meeting room or AV deployments, the Dante platform ensures wide interoperability for your connections. So now you can have hundreds of devices from many, many different manufacturers communicating and working together seamlessly within the network. So even if your project is highly complex, your connectivity and all the communication between the devices is simplified. And that also means you can have a really highly interoperable design that scales with your needs. And you're still getting a system that's tied together over standard gig E networking. So let's talk about managing it. I want to point out here that Dante AV is not just about taking a video signal out from a device and sending it around the network. It's really about bringing that audio and video together, synchronizing the signals and routing them where they're needed. So it's really about management and control. So this is where I think I'm on a different slide. I wanted to really talk about our management and control here. Yeah, okay, perfect, thanks. This is where you can really get a huge advantage. So you're not only eliminating all of the point-to-point cabling between devices, but you also have a single pane of glass to manage and control them all. So whenever you hear us talk about Dante AV, we're talking about a complete AV over IP platform, where you have flexibility in how you can sort of command and control all the devices in your system. You have all the devices operating independently and using Dante controller here to discover and connect and route the audio signals between them. If you've used Dante controller for audio, then you will feel right at home with Dante AV devices because they show up exactly the same way, side by side with the audio devices in that same interface. And the same network management practice that you've used for Dante audio apply directly to video. So whether that's IGMP for multicast and QoS for traffic prioritization, and in most cases, there's no need for a separate VLAN because the audio and video can coexist harmoniously in that same network. So just by connecting your device to the network, Dante AV over IP gives you that auto discovery of devices, that centralized control where you're routing from your single interface without having to go into each individual device, and then familiar Dante controller tools like presets and custom naming and visual routing. So this is a really useful, straightforward, intuitive way to visualize and manage your connections, whether they're audio or video. And yours is going to show just how that works in the BYOM setups. But now let's step into a managed Dante network. In a managed Dante network, we can start thinking about how you're managing these devices and users when the system scales, like to additional rooms or more external buildings, or if it integrates with your enterprise IT systems. In a managed Dante network, you have a more robust network management, so you get a complete view of your entire network infrastructure using these tools. With managed Dante, you can monitor performance, identify and resolve issues, ensure that the AV system operation is optimized, but you also get enhanced security. So as AV devices are becoming more network reliant, they must also be able to be monitored and managed like IT equipment. So a managed network will enable features like user authentication, device segmentation, encrypted communication, and ensure data and devices are always protected. What you see here is Dante Director. That's one of our options for managed Dante networks. It's a cloud-hosted SaaS solution, and it provides a centralized way to manage networks across multiple locations. So this tool is ideal for enterprises with discrete or geographically distributed deployments, or even remote management of multiple deployments, where dashboards and telemetry are providing insights into your device and network performance. This can help you identify and address issues before they impact the system. And a second option for management control is Dante Domain Manager, or DDM. And DDM is designed more for on-premises management. So it allows you to organize your devices into logical domains. That could be by room or by floor or by building. And it also gives you enterprise features such as user access control, where you can assign permission levels to ensure that only trusted users are making changes to the specific devices or areas. You also get incident monitoring and logging, so you can have a detailed audit trail of all your changes that gives you troubleshooting and security oversight. And depending on your application, you can also get a simplified implementation of SMPTE 2110 in the AES 67 for interoperability in broadcast environments. There's a lot to talk about with network management. I strongly encourage anyone interested in all of the flexible ways that you can do that with Dante to manage and scale and protect your AV network, especially as it expands, to take a look at the webpage shown here. That's getdante.com, network management. All right, so Dante AVH. We've talked about the Dante ecosystem. We've talked about thousands of audio and video devices networked seamlessly and synced with precision. And we've talked about managing the entire system from your choice of tools and dashboards. So how does Lumens bring it all into the meeting room? That's done with Dante AVH. When it comes to video, one size does not fit all, especially over IP. That's why Audinate offers different options: Dante AV Ultra, Dante AVA, and Dante AVH. You can see them all here, all our variants, and these fit a range of different use cases. Dante AV Ultra is for the high performance applications. This is where image quality, latency are critical. It offers visually lossless 4K 60, 444 encoding. Think about displaying really crisp, text-heavy content or sharing detailed, information-rich visuals like spreadsheets or CAD designs. You get subframe latency, making it ideal for IMAG in live production environments, and support for SDI and sync for production workflows. AV Ultra requires a higher bandwidth. It's like up to 700 megabits per second. And then we have Dante AVA. This is HDMI based with high quality, low latency performance. This will excel in simpler installations, more streamlined use cases for perfectly synced point-to-point or one-to-many video distribution for video for AV install, like hospitality, leisure, sports bars, casinos, auditoriums. And then we have Dante AVH that brings us here today, perfect for corporate networks where bandwidth is a concern, and that's often non-negotiable. It uses highly efficient H.264, H.265 codecs with low bandwidth, as low as 10 to 50 megabits per second each stream. And this makes it ideal for applications like video conferencing, overflow spaces, lecture capture, with only a few frames of latency, where for these use cases, it's negligible. It's also highly cost effective, which is a top consideration for speccing meeting room systems. And it lets you bring multiple cameras into Dante Studio software, where you can seamlessly add additional video into your PC, eliminating the needs for extra hardware. So you consider the specific needs for your application, whether that's high fidelity with AV Ultra, simple distribution with Dante AVA, or cost efficiency and bandwidth optimization with AVH in your meeting room and conferencing deployments. With that, I want to send it over to Joris, who's going to talk us through how Dante AVH is working with Lumens in the meeting room.
So thank you very much, Ellen, to remind us of all the great advantages that we all have by using Dante AV and Dante AVH. So now, me being from Lumens, I want to present our new two products that we will use with AVH. We have the world first Dante encoder and Dante decoder. I must be honest, when Taiwan came to us a year ago, we were a bit surprised. Are we going to add another HDMI to HDMI encoder on the network? But they fairly quickly said to us, no, we're going to do it differently. We're going to use an established protocol like Dante AVH, and we're going to also include USB into our spec of the product, so to alleviate the use of multiple boxes. So how do we do that? What we do is, for that, is what you can do is we can route a lot of video sources wherever they are over the network. So that means they can stand wherever in the room and we can send them over to a decoder or to the encoder. By using Dante, we can also use bidirectional audio. So we can send audio to my PC here, use it as a microphone, and then send it back to a DSP that is sending in a server rack 2 floors down. We are using a direct USB out, so that means there's no need for a converter. You take an IP source, whether it be audio or video, we convert it to USB. By using Dante AVH, like Ellen said before, we can use their management platform. Also, the time to learn the system is a lot lower, because a lot of you will already be able to work with Dante audio, so Dante video is just an add-on to the system. And of course, we have a secure access remotely if needed to the system. So, benefits of the Dante AVH systems. When we want to talk about that, we can say that we can install highly complex rooms with dividable walls, cameras that needs to be shown, or sources that needs to be shown on multiple screens. We can all do that on a very cost-effective way. We can sync audio and video together over the same protocol, so that helps us a lot. And again, what I told before is a lot of our technical guys are already experienced in using the Dante. So Dante AVH video is very simple and has a very low step-up time to get to know with it. And now to make my marketing director happy, basically what we say, you have a USB cable, you click it in, and we connect and forget the whole installation. So with one USB-C cable, we can hook you up to a whole world of Dante audio and video. So when we talk now a bit more into the product, Deep, what do we have? We have a Dante decoder. So we can connect the device to the network. Over the network, we will receive video and audio. And that audio, we can then convert audio and video, we can convert into USB-C. So that means your MTR, your Barco ClickShare will receive the Dante video and the Dante audio. And then this box, that's why we call it bidirectional audio, will then take in the far end side audio from your meeting and will then send it, convert it from USB back to Dante to send it to your loudspeakers that are Dante or to your DSP in the room. So basically you hook everything up to the network, you connect this one, and you can you connect the OIP 60D decoder, and you can connect to all the audio and the video in the room. When we then talk about the encoder is basically for us a bridge, because it can not only encode an HDMI in or a DisplayPort in, convert it to Dante, Dante audio, Dante video, but what it can do is also it can be placed underneath the table. We will show the example later, and it will then, as an encoder, decode audio and video to USB, and then after a while it will take your whole screen on the DisplayPort, take that in and be able to send that back on the network as a Dante AVH signal to a decoder behind the screen, for example, and to the DSP. So this device has multi-purpose, first as a way to get an HDMI signal onto the Dante network, or in a way to become an encoder and decoder over a Type-C cable. And what we need to emphasize is these boxes don't need any software to run. They work both on a web browser to set up. When we talk about the ecosystem, we don't only have these two products who are Dante, but the plan for Lumens is to bring out Dante cameras, which I'm using now. It's a TR60A. We will bring Dante AVH to our lecture capture boxes, Cam Connect box. So for us, the goal is to bring our whole Lumens portfolio into the Dante AVH ecosystem. So now we talk about some new Dante AVH integrations. And when we talk about new integrations, voila, we cannot do that before looking back how things are done. A lot of times when you want to get audio and video into a laptop, into a PC, and your camera or your source is standing very far away from your destination, you need to use some kind of extender, whether it's HDBaseT, a proprietary protocol. You end up with an HDMI source at the end, and you need to convert it to USB. After that, you need to add another USB converter in, who will take Dante audio and convert it to USB. This is now a simple setup. It gets even worse if you have multiple cameras. That means you need a double set of encoders. You need a decoder slash switch to choose your source. You need again go to USB, add the audio. So you see, we can get a whole lot of what we call like box behind box behind box for an installation. And this was the goal of Lumens, to take away and replace it by one simple product who can connect up to all your sources, whether it be video or audio, connect them all together, and in one single place convert it to USB. So we can, in the previous example, we used a switch. OIP 60D or E can be a switch. It can be a converter to USB, because we build in the USB port out. So basically you have one device on your network that will be able to connect to all of your audio and video sources. In here, you see a setup of how it's going. you have two cameras that are placed on the network. These two cameras, they will then send a video signal to the decoder. But I think if we go to the next slide, do we not have an animation? Yeah. So in here, it's with one camera, but it's the same. So if we see here, we get a Dante AVH signal in by the camera sent to the OIP 60D, and it converts it to USB. Afterwards, we take in the Dante from a ceiling microphone. In here, we simplified it. If it's a bigger room, we can talk to a DSP. But in here, we get the audio in. We convert it back also to USB, so your Teams has audio and video. And afterwards, we send back over USB to the OIP 60D the far-end sound. And then we are sending that sound to the speakers over Dante. So you have one box, connects to multiple cameras, and speaks to your microphones and speakers in the room. So what does this mean? This means we can add wherever we want, or it's a lot easier, let us put it this way, to add a source on your network because we only need one cable. A CAT cable. If you have a camera, you will have power, you will have control, and you will have Dante AVH video over that way. We can manage the whole ecosystem through the Dante suite of softwares they have. And we are really becoming a bridge with the Lumens product between your audio, video, your equipment, and the destination, in this case, an MTR. It's just easy. We click and forget. No, we connect and forget. Sorry. Now, when we want to talk about meeting rooms, you also have our friends from Barco ClickShare who do wireless bring your own meeting solutions, but there are many, many more. So when you see here before, we have a bit of the same setup. You need to convert or you need to extend your camera to the ClickShare. You need to extend your audio to the ClickShare. It takes a lot of boxes to get there. If we do it then with multiple cameras, it's the same. But again, on the Lumens side, we just connect everything to the OIP 60D and offer a single cable to the wireless device, who is then beaming it to your dongle in the room. So that means even if it's a fixed MTR or a wireless bring your own meeting, the OIP 60D is capable of handling those two room types. In here, we have again the slide, a system diagram. It's the same as what we did before. So if we go to the next slide, you will see it again. We will send the Dante video to the OIP box, who will then send it to the wireless device, to the PC. Same will happen with the microphone in. And then what we do is we receive through the USB the sound back from the laptop and are sending that again to the speakers. And then, of course, the HDMI out from the ClickShare, in this case, to the screen where we show you whatever is on your laptop and whatever meeting you are doing. Now, we can say we have also our own Dante AVH bring your own meeting solution. What we have is a wired solution. So what we want to bring to you is one single cable. So somebody comes into the room, clicks a single cable, goes. It will work with multiple displays in the room, so we can send out the stream from your laptop to multiple TVs that are in the meeting room. And basically, again, we connect and we forget what we're doing, because while connecting the single cable, we will be able to share our content onto the screens, but at the same time, taking advantage of the high-end microphone, Dante microphone that is in the room, high-end Dante speakers or DSP that are in the room, just by clicking in or connecting one single cable. So how do we do that? Again, we have a display, and if we click one further, we will show you a bit how the routing works. So in here, we have a laptop on the table and an encoder that is placed under the table, nobody sees, and we have a very nice retractable cable coming out of the table. We connect that into our PC, and we get the microphone sent into the OIP bridge. So that means he will get the microphone, we get that microphone in over Dante, and we convert that back to USB into our laptop, and we have already a microphone. Then the same thing for sound. Of course, we will take out the sound from the far end side, again over USB, going into the encoder, and we will then get it back on the Dante network and send it to the speakers in the room. For the video, we are sending the Dante AVH from the camera. In this case, it's one camera, but it can be multiple cameras. We are routing that through the Dante domain to the encoder, which converts it back to USB source. And then I can show you here, I'm using this kind of setup. As you can see now, I can then switch between the cameras. And then what we do is we are sending our screen hub to a decoder, which is on the back of the table or the back of the TV, and he will then display whatever PowerPoint we are showing or whatever meeting we are having. So basically what the box can do is it receives audio and video over USB back from your PC, USB and DisplayPort. And what it will do is it will get the audio out, send that to your DSP, route that to your speakers, and send the video to an OIP 60D, for example, on the back of your TV or to multiple TVs around. That is also the advantage from Dante. It's not for me. Please don't do this, what I'm going to recommend, because I have a child and I need Christmas trees. But by using Dante AVH, you don't need to stick in the whole Lumens ecosystem. So that means we can spread it out under a whole lot of devices who are accepting Dante AVH. And then we want to talk a bit more about the future products we are coming out on the Dante AVH platform this year. So first of all, we are talking about the TR60A camera, our auto tracking camera. The TR60A will come as fast as next month with Dante AVH built in to the camera. So when you order that camera, it will come with Dante AVH. It's a 12 times optical zoom 4K camera. It's not so easy to see on the picture, but it has dual lens, so it's auto tracking and auto framing for meeting rooms. But what it also has, it has 6 beamforming microphones built into the camera. So what it will be able to do is it will detect who is speaking and then zoom into that person, to get a bit of speaker tracking. We don't want to replace the high-end microphones, because the microphones that we use are only used for detection of people. It's not to use to replace another microphone, but to repeat what it does. It will go after a sound because it will detect the sound, and then it's the bottom camera who will say, hey, it's Celine Dion playing on my phone, so don't react to it. It's somebody walking in the hallway, don't react to it. Or it's me, Joris, or somebody else, Ellen, being a person. Okay, now I will come to you. Then we have our CamConnect processor. The CamConnect processor, for the people who don't know, is a box that will listen to the sound location of various microphones to pinpoint the position of the person who is speaking. After that, he will connect to the camera and will send the camera, up to 4 cameras, to that position. So you get a kind of discussion system. What we will do is we enable that with Dante AVH, so it will be Dante ready. So that means it will be able to take in Dante video sources, and it will also be able to take in Dante as an audio source. And then as a last, we want to talk about our lecture capture systems. We will start with the LC300, which is the top of the line of Lumens recording and streaming devices. That device will also get the Dante AVH treatment. So that means we will also be able to take in Dante AVH video sources and audio sources and mix it out and stream it back on to another location. Voila. That was, in a short overview, the Lumens products. Are there any questions?
So, Joris, I would just like to ask, I mean, it sounds incredible, all of the ability to route and switch sources over Dante. One thing that strikes me is how important the security is. And I know, Ellen, you gave a list of some of the major features, but how important do you think that is for real world end users?
My turn to answer. I think you have two worlds, but in our world, the AV, I think it's very important that if you have a board meeting, if you have a HR meeting of any sort, that your audio and your video is protected, that you cannot just come onto the network by accident and start looking for your sources. So what we hear is that the security and the protection is one of the key reasons why people jump onto the Dante AVH protocol.
Excellent. So we've got a couple of questions regarding the three-letter acronym. Is it possible to mix and match Dante AVH cameras with, say, RTSP cameras and NDI cameras on the same network?
I will now like to ask Ellen to to cover her ears or maybe get a coffee or a walk because this is basically not the topic of this, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but basically, yes, it is possible.
Excellent. Okay. So we have no more questions. I'd like to thank Ellen and Joris for your time. Thank you very much. That was very entertaining and extremely interesting. If you've got any questions, please, you can use the chat or go to our relevant websites and ask questions, and we'll be sure to answer straight away. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great afternoon, and we hope to see you all soon. Do we have time to answer Tom's question about...
Okay, so about the control, so if I can share my screen. So basically, if you're talking about the control of the encoders, basically what you can do is you just open your Dante domain or your Dante controller, and you are routing the video and the audio sources there. So if you have two video sources, for example, you will be able to route them in there. And then we have on our devices a HTTP API. So that means that you will be able, like I was doing, like I'm doing here. So what I'm doing, we've routed the wide angle camera over the Dante controller, and we routed the narrow camera in the Dante domain management Dante controller, and then it's up into the device where you can send a command to switch between source 1 and source 2. We have built an Extron and a Crestron controller for that, so the drivers exist. QSys is now under, how do you call that again, certification by them, and will come soon, but you can use HTTP commands as well. And then inside of the box, sometimes you want to route the audio from your laptop to the speakers of your TV. So basically routing it from an encoder to a decoder. That will be able to set up, you can set that again up in the Dante domain. You can say sound goes from the encoder to the decoder, but sound also goes from the encoder to my speakers that I have, for example, lying here on the table in the front. If I look down on here, you see there are some nice Dante speakers. So what I can do is I can again route both of these options into my Dante domain, and then we give you the option to choose which route you want to take.
Okay, thank you, Joris. Again, thank you very much, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.